Afternoon. Just wanted to come on and check in with everybody, see how everybody is doing and managing, because I myself had been a little stressed and had a little anxiety. Yeah, I just wanted to check in, see how everybody's doing with your self-care and kind of some of the things that we talked about last time with what we wanted to invite more of for this month, and what we wanted to, kind of stop doing. I mean, these weeks are going by so fast, right? But yeah, just speaking to the point of like our self-care, our personal responsibility. I had a list of topics here, but I haven't really chose one. I kind of had the idea of being stuck in the past, especially like with a lot of people like visiting family. I think I'm gonna move anyway. The lighting was good over here, but yeah, just with people, visiting family during the holidays and getting overwhelmed and stuff. But yeah, I was just kind of thinking about that because that was something I was kind of dealing with myself a little bit, like coming up on the holidays, and I get overwhelmed during that time. So I just really have to pace myself, especially this time of year, because there's just a lot going on. And even though I enjoy talking with people, I come on live and connect with people. I'm a introvert myself. I just get overwhelmed really quickly. I don't really enjoy like huge crowds anymore. Every once in a while, but yeah, I don't really enjoy it. I have to retreat every now and then. But yeah, just to the point of like being stuck in the past and victim mentality. That's kind of something that I have been working on. I really had the victim mentality, and I wore my victimhood like a badge of honor, and that was really keeping me stuck, even to the point of like some things that family members that I experienced with family members, things that I experienced in my marriage. I really had to move past that and leave the past where it is in the past and not in this present moment, because when we revisit those stories and stuff, we kind of like drag it all forward, and then we start living that experience again. We start living that story again. A lot of people are just really stuck there. Okay, you can't hear me. Thank you. Hey, Nick. We just sitting here chatting. I have had a rough last couple days. Just, I don't know, feeling emotionally drained a little bit. And so I was checking on you guys and making sure all was well with you all. And I know you're there in, I think, California. You coming to ATL? Oh, bring some California sunshine with you. Said you're going to the islands for Thanksgiving. Nice. Where are you heading? If you want to share. So I had an island experience for Christmas. I had always wanted to experience like a tropical Christmas. Well, let me say, I didn't get to do that until I was divorced. And that's when I got to experience my tropical Christmas, and I absolutely loved it. Well, do you have any questions or anything? Self-care, any questions about like relationships or personal responsibility or just anything? While I'm waiting for you to respond, I've been working with some groups. I just finished 2 last week on Sunday, but we started talking about how when we get married, sometimes like, I don't know, you have like the fairy tale weddings, and you're like, oh my God, this person will complete me, and like everything that's missing in me is found in my partner, and we bring balance to each other. But then it's like when we depend on our partner to fill those missing voids in here, that's when we get stuck, because we put the pressure on on our partner to fill those holes in us. Already whole, but we look to our partner to reflect that wholeness back in us. And so that's something we've been really discussing, and I kind of share my experience with that. Just wanting my partner, like whoever that was, even when I was a teenager and I, had a so-called boyfriend or whatever, like just wanting my partner to reflect my value back to me instead of knowing that I was valuable already, knowing that I was already worthy. It's just something that people just put a lot of pressure on their partner, and they're not able to enjoy the relationship because, again, you're just looking for them to fulfill something in you. Oh, I see it. Okay, what advice would you give in regards to having a spouse that's a believer but doesn't necessarily have a deep desire to get to know the word? Ooh. So, I'm sure you know this. Everybody has their own relationship with God, and everybody grows and learns at their own pace. I wouldn't say that's necessarily a bad thing because, again, there's people that know the word and they don't live the word. We can only keep our side of the street clean. Also, like, the more we harp on what they're not doing, is like the more they're gonna resist it. That's just something that kind of have to allow him to have his own process with it. And I'm not sure if you're asking this about yourself or if this is for someone else. Allowing that other spouse to have their own journey, whatever that looks like. It's not gonna look like what we think it should look like. Everybody has their own life experience that happened before they even met their spouse or whatever. Before you met your person, like, you have your experiences, they have their experiences, and for whatever reason this person is choosing not to get to know the word, or whatever reason they don't have a deep desire for that. My thing is, if that is something that you desire, then I will continue to feed that. We can't really dictate how someone else should interact with the word or what kind of relationship they should have in their own process to what that looks like. And that doesn't mean that theirs is supposed to look the same as ours, because, again, we don't know what this person listens to. Or maybe they are in a meditative prayer state or something. Like, we just never know what is going on in people's minds. Yeah, it says you don't want to force or push, but continue to allow him to see the way I live my life as inspiration. Right, exactly. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. What we think it should look like for them is totally different. It's totally different. And, I don't know. I feel like with certain things when you're married, I feel like we could say something to them as a wife, and then it's almost like they're resistant to it, right? And not even like forcing it, just a suggestion, okay? But then it's like somebody else will say the same thing, and then they'll be like, oh yeah. You'll be like, ain't that the same thing I said? Did I not say that too? But I don't know. Sometimes it's like, I don't know, for whatever reason, they just turn a deaf ear to us sometimes, and that's okay. But yeah, just allow him to have his own process. Allow him to have his own personal relationship with God. And again, it's personal. I get you. And that goes to that personal responsibility. I'm responsible for me, and it's not my job to manage your relationship with the word. Yeah, and that's okay. That's okay. You watch online, and he has no desire. So it's like, what are you doing to grow spiritually? Yeah. Let me ask you, and you don't have to answer this, or you can answer in my DM. But I guess my question would be like, what is occurring that's making you question that he's not growing spiritually? We grow from pain. And I'm not saying that he's not growing, but sometimes we shy away from pain, we shy away from conflict. But those are the things that help us to grow. So I get what you're saying. Like, dang, what you doing to grow spiritually? Like, are you even interested in like a growth mindset? Are you interested in like self-development or whatever? But again, their journey and their development doesn't necessarily look like, it don't look like what we think it should look like. Okay, yeah. Just by the questions I ask and the conversations. Yeah, he tells me he's not. Okay, yeah. Yep. For whatever reason, he does not have that desire. That's okay. Just because somebody know the word or you see them studying the word, that doesn't necessarily mean that, they're living the word. So, really it's just, hang on, let me get this story real quick. Hang on. Reading the word, or that doesn't mean that that does not mean they're applying the word to their lives. That does not mean that they're living that way. You're always going to be learning each other. We always are evolving. Getting to know your spouse is a lifelong process for the lifetime of the marriage. Just allow him to have his process. One thing I have learned is I'm at peace with myself and my process, and I allow other people to be at their peace in their process too. That was really one thing that set me free from worrying about what other people do. Allowing people to have their own process. I get what you're saying about the questions and the conversations, but I wouldn't take on this persona of like this holy, legalistic, I'm more morally correct than you because I read the Bible and I'm right, you're wrong because I read the Bible and you don't, and I'm more spiritually mature than you are. Yeah, it's teaching you to to relinquish control. Exactly. The more we try to control, the more we are being controlled. And that you don't want to take on like a codependent thing, like where you need this person to show up in this way for you to be okay. The best thing I learned was that to allow people to show up just as they are. And then I get to decide if I want to participate with this person or whatever. Maybe y'all can't have certain conversations, but I do see that you have a desire to connect over spiritual things. But yeah, maybe that comes with time, and maybe he is not exactly where you are spiritually, and if he's not there, that's okay too. Doesn't necessarily mean anything bad, so just enjoy. But yeah, I'm glad to see that you're learning to relinquish control, because again, if not, then you're going to be controlled by it. You're gonna be feeling some kind of way when you don't see him showing up in a certain way or him doing certain things. Yep, you're welcome. You're welcome. So have a great day, and I'll see you next time. All right, see ya. Mwah.